Good morning and welcome back to another episode of the Sunny Side Up Podcast. We're so excited to have you guys here today.
Yes, we're glad to be back. We're glad to have you back. And guys, I'm ready for some nice weather.
I know, me too.
They say this has been the worst May, just so you all know, since 1968.
Oh, wow. Well, it's been just dreary. That's the thing. I just want to see the sun, right?
I know.
We always want the
Next
sunny
week.
side,
Next
so-
week, the sun is supposed to be coming.
Okay, good.
So
Then we're on it.
then we're on
Maybe
it.
we'll do some outdoor episodes.
I would love to. I just feel like, how are we going to do that with the birds chirping,
Right.
the lawnmowers going?
It's true. It'll be
But I feel like if we held the mics,
yeah,
we probably could make it happen.
maybe.
We're excited. We're excited,
We'll
guys.
talk to someone who knows. But
We're excited you're here.
we are. We've got a good topic today, a topic that we've heard a lot about, and a topic that pertains to both of us. So we are chatting today about motherhood and kind of the mental, emotional load, especially if you are mothering through some type of major life change or trauma or something like that. So
or
that
even
can be a
just
big
motherhood
one.
in general.
Motherhood in general,
if you have a husband that travels a lot, or maybe you have a husband that you feel like you're more the go-to person, you're constantly the one that is doing most things because maybe he works a lot, whatever. Just the challenges of the mental load and what that looks like.
Yeah. And really it's I always say this, I feel like, and I don't mean this in a terrible bad way, but I'm I don't know if feminism was the right move for us women. If we really thought that through, obviously there's great points to women's rights and things like that. But I feel like the expectation went from it used to be back in our grandmother's day.
Yes.
They would you had the responsibility with the home and the kids.
Yep.
It was pretty, you just could focus on that. It was pretty easy.
Yep.
Now, we say women can do it all, which is in one way encouraging and exhilarating, but in another way, the weight of the expectation of women should be able to do it all.
Yeah.
It's a lot. And
It's
sometimes
a lot.
I think, what have we done to ourselves? This is a lot to do in one day.
Yeah. And it's a lot to be okay, especially, for all the women that are working full time, to then have to come home, feel like they need to make dinner, have a house in order, drive kids to and from extracurriculars, even when you have a spouse that is engaged and fully there, it's just a lot. And I think for us, we were just talking, is that this season, teenagehood feels like it's a lot of that.
It's true. I remember when my kids were toddlers and everyone said, oh, just wait till they're teenagers. And I feel like I misinterpreted what people meant.
Yes.
Because I feel like I thought people meant, oh,
they're terrible,
right.
hellions.
And it's almost the emotional side is hard, which there can be
is,
that. But it's more you're going from when your kids are little, you kind of command their social life and their life in general, what they do. As soon as they get into the teen years, they develop their own friendships, their own hobbies. They sign up for sports or activities. They have interests that they want. They want friends to get together without the mom. So it's drop me off here, take me to this friend's house. And all of a sudden, you're trying to balance your whole schedule, all of your responsibilities, plus however many teens you have in the house. And you can just feel like you're running ragged like a crazy taxi driver.
100%.
It's
I think
wild.
there's memes or things on Instagram that's tell me you're a mom in your mid 30s to 40s when this is your position, and it's them in a car.
Oh, yeah.
And I'm I feel that. Well, now that Naya's driving, you probably feel that part a little bit less, but you still have Cole.
I couldn't wait. I would tell people, I think I was more excited for her to get her driver's license than she was.
Yeah.
I was just I need help.
Yeah.
I need backup for real, especially because she specifically, of the two of them, she's very social.
Right.
Which I love that about her.
Yes.
So she is one to plan. On the weekend, she'd be okay, so this week I'm doing this and I volunteered for that. I'm going to this person's house. And I would just start to feel my heart going oh my goodness, okay. You want your kids to do all the things.
Yeah.
Especially teenagers.
Yes.
If they want to do productive, healthy things. I'm hey, be thankful that she's not just going out and getting into trouble.
Yeah.
But also there's only so many
busy.
hours in a day and I'm one person with one vehicle and I have another child that has things and there were times when I would feel so overwhelmed.
Yeah, it's there. I was even talking to some moms last week and we were chatting, and these particular moms all work full time. And so a lot of them have started to hire cleaners because they're the mental load.
Yeah.
We cannot come home from work at 5 p.m.
Yeah.
like think about cleaning and cooking dinner and getting them to their sports and like all over. So they started hiring cleaners to like whatever, but then they feel guilty almost of like that.
Like I should be doing it.
Yeah. Like should I be spending the money on this or should I whatever? And I'm like, oh man. And it's just so funny how like different people are different people. Then I have a girlfriend that, you know, she's a teacher but she spends every Saturday for 5 hours cleaning her house. Like she would be a lot like you and I, like it's very important to like keep a clean house. Yeah. And she's like, and then after that is done, I have Saturday nights free and Sundays. And then I do it all over again. Right. Yeah. Or I have friends that are like, to make up for that like motherhood, like mental load, I'll hire a cleaner. And I'm like, really? Like I would much rather like work less and clean my own house. Like, and then save the money for the cleaner. Yeah. Like, it's just so funny but some women love to work. Yeah. And like would rather work and then hire the cleaner. And I'm like, I would rather work less hours and clean it myself. It's just so funny the way different women work.
Yeah, it is. And there's just so much that there is to do, right? And you're just always feeling like, and I think because we also see what other people are doing well, but we don't always see what sacrifice they made for that. That's so it's like if someone's cooking these like amazing dinners and then you see that and you're like, oh, I should be doing that. And then someone else's house is really clean. You're like, I should be doing that. And but maybe like the person with the clean house gets takeout every night. Yeah. Or the person that gets the nice home cooked. Right? But you don't see the full picture. That's such a good point. And it feels like everyone's hitting it all and doing it all.
But they're not.
But they're not.
Even, sorry, were you going to say something?
No, well, I was just going to say, like, for me, I'm a person who, well, I think you're like this too. I think we're fortunate because I'm pretty high energy. Like, I can get a lot done in a day. I have a large stamina. Like, I can go. And I don't get tired and overwhelmed as easily. So I feel like I can do a lot. Yes. But I still never feel like I'm doing it all or doing it. There's still so many things I'm like, oh, I didn't do that and I wish I did that. And I just feel sometimes bad because everyone's different, right? Like if you have less capacity, it would be even harder to get stuff done.
I do feel like you have even more energy than me. I feel like you're like is it epitome or epiphany? No, not epiphany. Epitome. Yeah. Of the Proverbs 31 woman who like gets up before the sun comes up, goes to bed late, has like the cookies baked. Like you have a different level of energy than even me. I think your capacity level is like just.
I feel like I've like really learned that in my adulthood, and I don't mean this in like it's not something I try. It's just how it is, and I thought everyone was like this. But even as a kid, I was actually telling my friend this last week because we were on a vacation together, and she was just like, "Wow, you have a lot of energy," and I'm like, "I'm sorry," and I was trying to like tone it down. Yeah. But I was telling her how when I was little, my mom used to say to me often. Like she'd call me the Energizer Bunny, or she would say, if I could bottle your energy and sell it, I'd be rich. Yeah. Because even as a kid, I was always just like, what are we doing? And what's next? And let's do this and on to the next. When everyone else is like, they've had enough and they're powering down, I would just not reach that same level of, and I've had people say to me before, like, oh, is it that you like to be busy? It's not even that. I don't, because I actually can also be a homebody. I like to be.
Yes, I was going to say, you are also equally a homebody.
Yeah, like I like to go out and do things, but I'm not someone who's like, oh, I can never stay home. Because I have friends like that too, that'll be like, oh, I'm like you, I can never stay home. And I'm always like, that's not really how I am. Because I also would love to stay home. Yeah. But I would like putter around my house and organize the closet and bake some banana bread and then, like, make like a craft or something. Like I just like to do a lot of things. Yes. And I still feel like I can't
get it all done.
Do everything. Yeah. And it's frustrating. And I just feel like all women must feel like this. We all must just, no matter if you're like high capacity, low capacity, you just feel like you're never doing enough. And why is that? Why do we always feel like we're never doing enough? It's so frustrating.
I don't know what it is. I think it's that like we put it on ourselves. Yeah. Like I don't think maybe society like portrays this picture that we need to be like, but I do think oftentimes we put it on ourselves to like have the perfect house, have the perfect kids, have the perfect whatever. Like, I mean, for me, society didn't put it on me that I need to have a house that looks like a showroom where I feel anxious. Yeah. It's the same with my car. Like I just cannot have anything messy. My brain is like, everything has to be perfect. In like, and probably it came over the years because, a wise counselor once said to me, that's because it's the only thing you can control. Your life feels out of control. Yeah. So this has become like a coping mechanism. Like, well, it's better than freaking cocaine. Yeah.
That's true. I agree.
I'm not snorting cocaine in the bathroom. So
little Windex, the little bleach.
Just like, give me the Windex and the bleach and I'm good to go. Yeah. But like, we put it on ourselves.
Yeah.
And I just think it's crazy. And I was thinking the other day, actually, I was vacuuming my house and I just had this thought because my kid's dad often cooks like nice meals for them, right? And which is so funny because I'm like, really? You never cooked a meal when we were married? That's nice.
Yeah. Okay.
Super
it's a new hobby you picked up.
Great. Amazing. Anyways, and they'll talk about like he'll do like all these elaborate things like French onion soup, like tomato soup, this popcorn chicken, like some of their favorite things, right?
Okay.
And I often am like, oh my gosh, I feel like I've barely cooked dinner in like so long. It's like, hey, eggs and toast or like a quick casserole or whatever. It's not that I don't cook. I just feel like in this last few months, like just with how busy life is, I've cooked way less. Or it's like I have all teenagers now. So I'm like, I don't feel the need.
Yeah.
And I'm like, okay, fend for yourselves. Like grilled cheese sandwich, tomato soup, amazing. And then I often feel like, they go to their dads and get these like elaborate meals. But I'm like, of course, when you're only going 4 times a month.
Totally.
Like it's that weight of like, okay, well, 80% of the time they're with me. And so like, it's that feeling of like, like they're getting like these nice whatever. Yeah. I don't have the capacity to do these elaborate meals. Like there's times where I do. Yeah. And there's definitely seasons where I do. It's just I'm in a weird, funky season right now where I'm like, okay, we're going to barbecue for dinner. Yeah. Like it's just I don't have 6 hours to cook in a kitchen.
Well, and that must be a different level of mom guilt. There's one thing of like comparing yourself to a friend or someone on Instagram or whatever, but your ex-spouse or the other parent, that must be really hard to not, if your kids are like, oh, well, we got this over there. And you're like, because you're always wanting to make your house like a great, amazing place. So even if your kids don't mean it, like, oh, there's a lack here that dad gives us, it can feel that way.
Totally. And I know that they would never like mean it in a hurtful way or whatever, but it's more, I have to work very hard, like consciously and subconsciously to be like, no, like you're okay. Like you're a good mom. It's this doesn't matter. Like, but it's a mental game. Like to try and trick your brain to be like, you just don't have the capacity right now because you're working, you're cleaning, then you're coming home and cleaning a house. Like my son's baseball schedule right now, it's Wednesdays, Thursdays, practice Fridays, and he's umping in between. So that's like every night. Yeah. Plus youth group on top of that. And I'm like, so I'm supposed to go to work, come home. Like, how do you just, like, you can't.
And it's such a hard thing, too, because I know that some people, like, I've heard the argument where people say, oh, you do it to yourself. Don't let your kids be involved in so many things.
Totally.
But also, we know that at this teen age, if they're not involved in productive, healthy things, a lot of times a bored kid can get into trouble online with their friends, sneak it out doing whatever. So it's that hard balance of, like, you want to encourage the healthy things that they want to do anyways, the interests they naturally have. Yeah. But it's a lot of work and it's busy and it's hard to do it all.
And toddler and little kids, parents, I feel like can say, oh, well, you do it to yourself, whatever. But I'm like, really? I'm like, my son, like, he's got church and that's one thing. But like, it's like baseball. It's one thing. Yeah. It's just that it's busy because it's seasonal.
And kids' sports are not like when we used to play. I'd be like, once a week, whatever. Kids' sports these days, even if it's not super high level.
Like, even if it's not rep.
Oh, same. Because my son does basketball, and I'm just like, wow, the commitment level. Yeah. But it feels like it's that or nothing because all the other kids are doing it. Yeah. So if you want to be part of a team, even if it's not a super high level, like, do you want to be that kid that doesn't come to the practices and isn't prepared for the games, and then you create this frustration within your team? Like, it's such a tricky. Like, I thought that too. I was a little bit like, what are we getting ourselves into? When we started doing all this, but then I see the positives. He loves it. Yeah, he makes these good friends. I've seen his self-esteem have a huge boost. His work ethic, everything. So you see those things, and you're like, well, I guess it's worth it. I haven't read a single book in the last 8 years that I love to read, but that's fine.
Yeah,
you're like, it's time to sit down.
You bring the book to the game.
Totally.
Well, not the game, the practice.
Right. Yeah.
Because you want to watch the game. So maybe the practice.
I should do that. Instead of wandering around winners, I should probably just
It's even like I had a girlfriend the other day, like, say to me, you know, I'm trying to get on track with like my eating and like being healthy. She's like, but by the time like she leaves the house literally, I think at 6:30 in the morning and then isn't home till like 5 and then makes dinner and then gets her kids to practice, whatever. And she's like, I feel like I can't even fit in a workout. Yeah. I was like, okay, hang on. Usually with practices, even games, they have to be there like half an hour to 45 minutes before the game. That's true. I was like, park your car, walk.
Yeah.
Like,
so smart.
You can fit it in. You just have to be very strategic. She was like, oh my gosh. So then the next day, that's what she did. And she was like, Leah, I felt so much better. Aww. And like, that was because that was like a tip from you. Because I was like, yeah, it's so easy to say, oh, we're so busy that we can't find time to get a workout in or whatever. Yeah. But I'm like, those things are so important that you have to make time. Yeah. It's actually not a choice. True. Like if we're going to like pull our kids all around to in front, like we have to be able to prioritize ourselves. And she was like, oh my gosh, I just didn't even think about that. Like, okay, I can go for a walk, or even like, I don't know, if you have to be at a mall and walk the mall, like something where you can like move your body so that you feel like you're a better person. Yeah. Like,
it's so true.
I'm a better person when I work out and when I can go for a walk and when I can do weights and when I, like, if not, I'm not a nice person.
And it's true. It's like you have to find what your schedule is and fit it in, even if it looks different from other people. Yeah. Because even I find that, like, the reason I love podcasts so much is because I don't really watch like TV or movies much. I will the odd time if my kids ask me to or whatever, but I mostly listen to podcasts because to me, it's like, I don't always feel like I need the physical break. Right. I'm not physically tired. It's like the mental. You just need to zone out for a bit. Then I find if I put a podcast in, then I can clean my house or, organize my cupboards or whatever. And I still feel like I'm getting that break because I'm just physically doing something that's mindless. Yeah. But so then I choose to do that instead of like sitting and watching TV and then nothing's getting done. For me, I just feel like I guess because when you're by yourself, you're like a man down, right? I'm like, I don't have the luxury to like sit and watch TV or like almost like waste time. Yeah. And I would love to. I'm not anti that. Yeah. I also want to have my laundry cut up and I want to have stuff for dinner and I want to have a clean house and I want to like, you can't have it all if you don't make some sacrifices. And I feel like one day in the nursing home, I'll be watching lots of TV. Yeah, so that's what I keep my mind on. I'm like, this isn't the time or the season. Yeah. I'll be doing that eventually, but not now. But then I don't know if that's healthy. I don't know if that's healthy that you're never really resting, but also what do you do? Like how do you do all the things that need to be done when you're by yourself? Yeah. With kids.
It's a balance. Like it definitely is. You're like just what we're saying. You have to be able to prioritize you though. So whatever that looks like, right? Mm-hmm. And I think as women, even that mental burnout load or that mental load is also making time to like go out with your girlfriends. Mm-hmm. Like to me, that is so important because that's a lifeline. Yeah. Like I need that in my calendar every month. Mm-hmm. Like that's just like a non-negotiable for me.
And it energizes you.
Yes. Yeah. It energizes you, right? Like there's certain times you have to go out and it's like with people or for functions where it like depletes your energy. Mm-hmm. But like your good girlfriends or whatever, like going for a walk with somebody that can give you energy, like you need that because it's too much. It's too much for any mother to just do it all the time. It's like what can we do? How can women like be better at getting that in their schedules? Because often we put ourselves last.
Yeah. Oh, for sure.
Right?
Yeah. That's what you feel like as a mom, right? Yeah. You're going to put yourself last. And I do think that sometimes there is maybe even an unhealthy, like if you've been in a relationship where in that relationship even, you were never like valued or prioritized or given your permission. Yeah. To like rest or relax or lean on somebody else. Yeah. You just get in the habit of never feeling like
you can put yourself
you
first.
Can do it. Yeah. Right. Even then when you're by yourself, and I guess you could make different choices for yourself. Yeah. You don't because you've never really, that's never been your reality. Yeah. Right. And not that that's healthy, but I think especially if you're left behind after a trauma. Yeah. Whether it's divorce, abuse, whether it's a massive loss in a family, whatever, then the reality that you are the stable parent, it's like your kids have you or nobody. Yeah. Yeah. And, like I used to make not like the joke, but the comment, I would be frustrated because of the little amount of stability and consistency that my kid's dad really has ever had in their life. And I used to say that to my friends. I'm like, it's just like funny because anytime he criticizes me in any way, I'm like, well, if I acted like you, and so we both acted like you, if I put in as much stability and consistency and whatever, our kids would probably be apprehended and put into foster care. But you're allowed to act the way you act. You're allowed to have all these, low things and all these crises in your life because somebody else is there to pick up the pieces and be the stable person. And it's hard. The weight of that is very hard when you're the one who has to be stable. You don't have a choice. You don't get to just relax. You don't get to melt down.
You don't get sick days.
You have to figure out if you have a conflict of schedule, whatever, too, you just get to figure out. You don't get to just dump the kids on
somebody else.
Like, I always think that was funny. If you're trying to make a plan and then, their dad's like, oh, that doesn't work. I can't do it that day. Like, oh, okay.
My life doesn't work like that.
Right. But it's like, I would never have that luxury. If it doesn't work for me, I have to find a sitter.
I have to figure it out.
I have to reschedule my plans. It's just funny how on one side, they just live their life and pop in and out as it suits them.
Yes.
But when it comes to you don't, and there's a pressure that comes with that, knowing that you don't have that luxury, right?
Yeah.
It's very hard.
It's very hard. I remember, my husband, his ex-wife, because the kids were with us all the time, and she was so flaky, she would I think we talked about in a previous episode, they would be waiting at the door and she just wouldn't come or whatever. But her biggest one would always be like, hey, I can't pick up the kids tonight. I have a headache. Or hey, I can't pick up the kids. I have a cold. I'm not feeling well. I'm like, sorry.
Yeah.
Get your arse here.
Yeah.
Moms don't get sick days.
Yeah.
If I have a headache, I take an Advil, throw some peppermint on the back of my head, and I'm making dinner. You don't have that luxury.
Yeah.
To go, oh, sorry. Parents don't get sick days. Not even just moms. Parents don't get sick days.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can rally in some help,
Yeah.
but not as a consistent pattern. It used to drive me nuts because I'm like, oh, do you know what happens when I'm sick? I still take the kids to and from school.
Yeah.
Oh, I still take them when, even now, my husband.
And her kids too. You're not feeling well and you're still there for her kids.
Yeah.
Because they live with you and you don't get to just say, oh, mom's not
It doesn't work like that. My husband right now
crazy.
travels a lot, especially in the spring going into the summer, which means all hands are on deck. And yes, my kids are older because people often go, yeah, but they're older. They can do a lot for themselves. I'm like, yeah. But it's still the mental load.
And they still need, you still
have to
totally.
whatever. And I was sick when he was away and I was like, ugh, but I don't get a sick day. I still have to get up and take them to school.
Yeah.
Who's going to take them to school?
Yeah.
Yeah. There's still kids that need to go to school, whether they're teenagers or not.
You still got to make sure there's groceries in the fridge and stuff for lunches.
You still have to do it. And so I'm that lack of when there's an ex or whatever on the other side, when they're like, sorry, can't take them, you're sick. You're like, really?
Right.
Life doesn't work like that. It just doesn't. And I think that's hard for people that have never been through it to understand, the weight of having to do everything all the time. And then they get to go to the other house and it kind of be that fun visit because they're not there all the time.
Right. Yeah.
It's that, sure. Almost like that.
It's like
fun
real life.
Or
almost like a visitor where, company's coming this one time after 2 weeks or whatever. And then we can do something really great and big because then we also know they're leaving and then we have all this downtime.
Yeah. I'm what does all this downtime look like? And again, I would not trade it for my life to pet. I wouldn't. That's, this is what I wanted. This is what I fought for. I wouldn't trade it. But I'm it just must be nice. I get those thoughts kind of come in my head where I'm oh.
Well, and it's just even further than just must be nice. It's just sort of I think probably what's hurtful for you or me or anyone is when there's not an acknowledgement of it. When there is the nitpicking and criticism of you as a mom or something that you did or that they didn't think you did the right way. And it's kind of or you could be hey, thank you, Leah. Thank you, Pam. Thank you, whoever, for taking the bulk of the parenting and the responsibility so that I could live this different life where I have my kids and I see them and I have fun with them, but it's not an everyday 24/7 constant load. There's a social life that people in that situation get to have that somebody that you have your kids full time, you will not have.
Yeah.
There's mistakes they can make. There's partying. There's getting themselves at a certain state that you could never do that because you have kids 24/7 and you have a huge responsibility for them, right?
Yeah.
And that's where even in my situation, when there's sometimes been comments or frustrations over like little things, I sometimes am like so shocked, like, wow, I'm so surprised that you're not just, that you else have the audacity to criticize me. Like, you can live, you can party, you can live this wild life that you want.
Yeah.
And then, like a couple hours a month, see your kids so that you can get your cup filled and feel good, but then go back to your life because I'm the one here.
Yeah. Yeah. And
holding down the fort, being stable.
Yeah.
Right? Like, so you get to live your fun life because I'm picking up your slack. But it's not appreciated, right? It's like not even acknowledged or recognized. It's just like, well, you're the mom. That's what you should do. Yeah. It's like, yes, but also you were the dad. So you probably should have also been here every day, but you didn't make that choice. You wanted to live and do your own thing. But then when someone leaves, they dump because the thing is, it takes this much energy to raise kids as it takes.
Yeah.
So in the ideal world, totally, it should be 50% of that is on you.
Yeah.
But if someone leaves,
it's like, gone.
Now their portion gets put on you. Yeah. It's not like, oh, you can still keep doing 50%. Well, you can't. They're gone.
Yeah.
Your kids still need that 100%, right?
That's a very
it's
good
so
way of looking
hard.
at it. And when you had kids with your spouse, you would have gone into this to be like, okay, we're in this together.
Yeah.
We're in this together. Yeah. And then try not like, it even reminds me, I saw this thing last week on Instagram and it said something like, trying to co-parent with the person that broke you and trying to heal from it, like trying to heal from the person that broke you. It's gonna bug me. But it was something along those lines, like trying to heal while you're still co-parenting with the person that broke vows or whatever is like incredibly hard, right? Because you're trying to heal yourself but feel the weight of like having to do everything, be there for your kids, be everything to everyone. Yeah. And people even in not divorce situations feel that, right? If they have a spouse that travels a lot, if they have a spouse that is,
just not hands-on,
not very hands-on.
Right. And like, sometimes that can be even more frustrating because it's like you're sitting right there and you're not helping, you're not involved, you're not doing your share. Yeah. Like that can actually be more offensive than at least if they're not there. Yeah. It's not rubbed right in your face that you're getting totally dumped on and taken advantage of.
Totally. And that's where I even go back to the whole friendship thing is like, it takes a village. And that is where like, I think whether you're like in a divorce situation, whether you're in a marriage that feels difficult, traveling husband that's not hands-on, whatever, it's like, find your village that will help you with your kids. Like find your village that like doesn't just want like girls' nights, but wants like family time and like family barbecues and like what does this look like?
Yeah, or drop your kids off if you need to run to this appointment. Or women I feel like are, I just think women are amazing in general. But women are so good at taking care of each other. Some women. I know that people have other struggles, but I feel blessed. I know you do. Yeah. We both, you and I have incredible circle of friends that has just really and truly, when you say takes a village or it's like ease that burden. Yeah. I don't even know how I would have got through my life without my friends. Yeah. Like it's like they just see you, they see what you need and they swoop in and sometimes you need them more and then sometimes you can be more of a friend to them, and you just kind of go back and forth and there's no expectation and no one holds anything over your head. They just do it out of love. Yeah. Like women are very good at taking care of.
And that's why you got to prioritize that. Like you do have to prioritize those friendships like that we talked about in previous episodes, but also understanding that there's certain seasons. Like somebody was asking me to hang out the other day and I literally looked at my calendar and I was like, so July 3rd?
Right. Yeah. Totally.
Like legitimately, I'm like the month of June, I think just like with kid in high school, exam, working, just life in general. I was like, I looked at my own calendar and I was like, this is very much stressing me out. But I'm like, it's all things I actually cannot change. Yeah. I'm like, he plays baseball 3 times a week and I'm 1 to 2 times a week. That is not changing. Yeah. Like he's wanting a job. I have to be able to drive him. He can't drive. He plays, but like I'm just,
you also have like, a lot of children.
Yeah. And now mind you, the older ones usually can drive themselves and find their own place around. but it's still organizing like, okay,
and
where are
who's
you
wearing
tonight?
it,
Where are you? Are you coming here? But it's like, okay, so that's why like, I said to my girlfriend the other night, she's like, when can we get together? And I was like, well, if you want to come sit and watch baseball with me, bring a tea and we can chat for 2 hours while watching baseball.
Yeah.
Like at this season, I'm like, because I'm like, I have such a short window left. Like I know they're, 13 and 14, but I'm like, that's going to go by so fast.
Yeah.
And so I'm like, I want to be at every game, as many games as I humanly possibly can. So I'm like, okay, then if you're in a lesser busy season because your kids are younger or you don't have kids yet or whatever, or you do, but like you just find what works. So this, girlfriend has a younger kid. And so I was like, okay, well, he goes to bed. So if you want to come watch baseball with me, grab a tea and let's go.
Yeah.
It's finding that time to be like, how can we make this work?
And I feel like if you have good people in your life that have similar schedule or understand, because I feel like that too, as you're saying that, I'm thinking, kind of laughing to myself, because I feel like most of my girlfriends are also very busy.
Right.
And so it's funny because we'll do the same thing. Like even my one friend a couple weeks ago, we hadn't seen each other in like a couple weeks. We just touched base online or through text or whatever. And then we went to get together, and then I was like, I'm so sorry. Like I have to go do groceries. And she's like, well, I need groceries. Let's do groceries together. And we literally hung out by doing groceries together, like price matching. And then we just like, we're like, that was fun. Love you. Bye.
Yeah.
And then that was it. Right.
Yeah.
Or you just go and like clean with your friend or run an errand or do something to see each other. And it's great when people have a similar schedule because they understand. They don't think it's weird. They're not like, what? You just want to run errands together, right? Yeah. They're like, sure, that's great.
Yeah.
So,
and it's these things that are lifelines to keep you alive and going. Yeah. Like we're like this season of life, I just feel like is flashing before my eyes for starters.
Yeah.
And just so busy, right? And like how do we not burn out? Like how do you not burn out? And sometimes that does mean having something in the calendar and having to cancel it. Yeah. And go, I'm really sorry. Like I know that we made this plan, but like I love you. Mm-hmm. This has nothing to do with you. This is like my life right now though. And I just need, this is my only night that I can maybe be home. Yeah. I need to get stuff done. Yeah. So there needs to be that understanding, I think, in motherhood, in those journeys to be like, it's okay. Yeah. I got you. Yeah. And not get offended.
Totally. Because the last thing somebody who's overwhelmed needs is more guilt from outside sources, right? So it's like as women especially and friendships, if we can support each other and be like, I get it, even if you are kind of hurt, if you're like, oh, I miss this person and I want to have time with them. Yeah. If they can't have time with you right now, just to be like, okay, this is my time to be the good friend and support them. And I know it's a short season. And at some point we're going to reconnect again. Yeah. But to be like, well, you never, and you don't make time for me and da-da-da. Like that's the worst thing you can do. All you're doing is that person already probably feels that pressure and guilt themselves. And then if you're heaping it on, right? Like it's, well, it's a season of like overwhelm, I think. Yeah. And it's just like, how do you balance it? And then, you know, and you know, there's certain girlfriends, like I have a standing date with every month that I'm like, I will not miss this. That's smart. Because that's my lifeline. But what we do is like we have a girls' night, and at that girls' night, because there's, you know, so many of us, we're like, how do we, like, let's try to like get our schedules together so that before we leave this meeting, we're booking the next one. That's smart. Right? Just because it's so hard. Yeah, it's like a doctor's appointment or like the dentist. Yeah. They're like, you're coming in 2 months.
Yeah. Like, and my calendar is my lifeline because I'm like, between all the appointments, all the things, it's not just sports. No. It's orthodontist appointment. It's dentist appointment. It's doctor's appointment. It's, oh my gosh, they have an eye exam. Oh my God. Like, I'm like, it is wild how busy life is. Yeah. Right? Yeah. And I feel like too, even as friends, like just acknowledging that each situation for each person is different. Yes. And some people have more times, even they have more time at certain times and then they don't. And I remember one time I had a friend and she had like boys that were friends with my son, and she's married and, you know, her husband works a fairly normal job. But he was away this one time for something. I don't remember why, like for the weekend or a few days. And the boys wanted to get together, I think after school maybe. And, you know, she had said to me, like, kind of almost out of frustration when I asked, I was like, and she was like, no, like my husband's been gone for
3 days and I've already driven like to school and then back to work and then driven them to their sport thing and then picked them back up and then got home and I'm tired and I'm just like, you like if you can drive them, that's fine. But otherwise, like, I can't do it. And partly I was like, okay, like I felt for her. I'm like, that is, but then partly I was like,
I do this alone all the time.
Totally. I was like, this is a friend too that I think in the past maybe something that I was always trying to deal with was I did feel like there was a lack of like understanding or compassion for just even my life or situation at certain times. So I think maybe that comment rubbed me a little bit where I was like, okay, but like, and I could, she was completely unaware of like what she was saying and who she was saying to her. And in my head, and maybe I should have, I almost wanted to say to her, but at least relief is coming. Yeah. Like he's gone for the weekend, for 4 days, whatever. And you know that when he comes back, then you're going to have help driving the kids to school, picking them up, going to practices, whatever. Like, and not even just me, but just an awareness that there's a lot of people that help's never coming. Yeah. So what do you think it's like for them, right? Yeah. And like when your expectations are high in the friendship, because she would be a friend that would often be like, I never see you. You're busy, but and kind of heaping a lot of guilt. Yeah. When, I was just like, oh, but like, it's just funny because for one weekend, when your life looked more similar to mine, you couldn't do anything either. Yeah. You were completely frazzled and overwhelmed. Yeah. But yet that's my life every day. Yeah. And you're the one always saying to me, you're busy. I never see you. You don't have time. And I was just kind of like, and it was really like a good lesson to me to be like, hey, you be that person that sees those situations, right? Like, don't be like her. Don't be like that. Yeah. Like, look at other people and be like, hey, do they need a little extra hand? Are they overwhelmed? Is this, could I do the driving or the pickup or the drop off this time? Even if I'm tired too, but if you see that they're frazzled, right? Yeah. Don't be the one sitting there always like, oh, well, I have this on the go. And so I don't have time, because that we need to really support and help each other, right?
And even like for any mom or any relationship, it's like, try to figure out little things like carpool your kids to school together so that you can take turns. Carpool them to sports so that you can take turns. Like there are so many people out there willing to do it. Yeah. You just got to find it, or you just got to say it.
Yeah. Or just organize it a little. Yeah. Like, hey, I noticed we're driving to the same event and back, or the same sports practice. Like, what if I go one way and you go the other way?
Totally. Because it can be so helpful. It can literally relieve the littlest bit of pressure build up, and you go, oh, yeah. Okay, now I have an hour that I can like get something done or whatever, right? Yeah. It's motherhood is exhausting.
Yeah. And I feel like at the end of the day, some of these things really don't matter. Like that's what I'm always trying to tell myself, which I just need to let things go. Like I want my kids to have this like, feel like they have this magical childhood despite some of the hardships, or maybe even because of a lot of the hardships, I put this pressure on myself to overcompensate. But at the end of the day, it's like you're home, you love them, they love you, you have a close relationship. And if certain things aren't done right, if you don't have the homemade dinner, if you don't whatever, it's okay. Just let it go. I think we are our own worst enemies. We're so hard on ourselves. Yeah. And just say, it's fine. It's fine. They're going to be fine. Yeah, if they have some takeout again, it's okay. Yeah. If I hire a cleaner, it's okay.
It's okay. Yes.
Right? I mean, I would probably never want to, because I'm very controlling with like cleaning, but
I'm like, I've hired a cleaner before, and I'm like, what?
Totally.
Yes. But it's like to not, like, we live in a world where social media is like our own worst enemy. Yeah. 100%. It's like, it really is everyone's highlight reel. Like it really is. Okay, here's the good stuff, which is, I think, why we wanted to start this podcast even too, to be like, there is a lot of garbage that goes on in life.
Totally.
And in relationships and in friendship and in business and in, but it's like, yes, there is garbage. Find the sunny side, but don't fake it.
No.
Like, don't fake the sunny side.
So
find the sunny side. And that means to find healing. That means to find friendship. Like, you can't, even in motherhood, like, you can't fake it till you make it. I hate that saying. I'm like, fake it till you make it. And sometimes I say it myself. So like, whatever. But it's like, do what you need to do to be the best version of yourself.
So true.
Like, don't just sit there and go, oh, I want the sunny side. I want, like, and then just sit there. waiting for it to come to you. There's steps you have to take.
And I think it's like doing both, right? Like acknowledging first, this is what's going on. Yeah. This is really hard. This is how I'm feeling. I'm about to break whatever. But this is how I can find the sunny side, right? Yeah. Finding the sunny side of life isn't about pretending that it's not happening. Yeah. Acknowledge first the actual crap that's going on.
Like, this is crap.
Because life, like we've discovered on this podcast and through the DMs, like people are struggling. Like I just the other day ran into somebody who was listening to the podcast and she was sharing such a hard story. And I just walked away from that encounter so sad and think to myself, life is really hard for a lot of people. A lot of people are getting treated very badly from people they should be able to love and trust, and their life is so hard. So that's a real thing. Yeah. And we're not saying acknowledge it, but then be like, okay, but how do I make the best of
And maybe it's making some moves that you don't want to make.
Yeah, totally.
Maybe it is making some hard decisions. I feel like our biggest thing on this podcast is that we want to talk about things that people don't want to address. Yeah. Like I just do, which I think that we should even do an episode coming up on sex.
I'll let you take
in marriage
on that.
And
like, go ahead,
what that looks like. And what it really is in the church. It is like not a faux pas. That's not the right word. What am I saying? Like it's like
that's right. Like a faux pas.
Like people, it doesn't want to be addressed. Like what does sex look like? You know, oftentimes I hear friends being like, "Oh, well, how many times sex do you have a week or whatever?" And I'm like, I don't even think that's the right answer to make. But it's like, what does it look like? You know, there's a lot of things that people won't hit, and I'm like, I want to hit those topics so that people feel comfortable. Yeah. What does sex look like in a healthy way? And if there's seasons where it's you're not having a lot because there's stress or death of a family or somebody sick, like there's so many things I think we want to tackle and need to tackle that, like, let's go.
Let's do it. We'll talk about all of it.
Mom, maybe don't watch those ones.
We'll give your mom a fair warning.
I'll be like, trigger warning, mother, don't watch this episode.
Exactly.
This will be really awkward. But my life is just such an open book. I feel like everyone that knows me is like, Leah, like literally nothing's off topic for you. I'm like, yeah, no.
That is very true. Like, and I feel like that's one of your most endearing qualities, because it's what I've learned in my later life. It's like, as somebody who felt for a long time like you had to pretend everything was fine, I'm actually realizing people feel safer in a relationship with you when you don't do that. Right. When you actually are just real and you say this, and I'm a pretty positive person. So a lot of that for me is genuine. Like I genuinely can be in a crappy situation and still be happy and find the good. Yes. And so that isn't always
becomes natural for you.
But there was a line of like pressure. But I actually think people feel safe with you and with anyone else who is really real, because when you're real, people kind of exhale and they're like, oh, okay. And if she has experienced this or is willing to talk about this, maybe I could talk about this thing I feel like I can never talk to anyone about, and she's not going to judge me, or which I think you're so good at. You have a colorful like Rolodex of people in your life that are so different and lived such different lives, and you just love and accept people no matter what. Even if you personally don't agree with everything, it doesn't even matter to you. You're just like, oh, well, I just love this about them. And I would probably never do these things the same as them, but I don't really care. It doesn't change how I feel about them. Yeah. And I don't think a lot of people have the capacity or like the emotional maturity to do that. It's kind of like if people are too different, we're like, nope. We can't handle them, but you're so not like that.
Yeah, I mean, I think I try, and I think some of that does come with self-awareness the older I've gotten, to just be like, I need to understand everyone's situation, because I can judge somebody quite easily, especially if they're on the other side of like my journey or something, right? Yeah. But I've just come to realize like everyone has a story. Right. There's a reason for everyone's behavior. And even though I might not agree or whatever, it's but I also don't like feel bad calling people out of their shit. Right. Yeah. Like I am like, what are you doing? Yeah. Are you like, I need you to think with your brain before you make this decision. Especially like my close friends, like they'll always come to me and, you know, whatever. Like I had a good friend that was going through like a crazy situation, and I just kept saying to her, like, I don't think this is a good idea. Just hear me out, like A, B, C, D, and B. Anyway, she went ahead with it. And then like she kind of came back to me. It fell through. And, you know, she picked up the phone. She's like, hey, I need to talk to you. I was like, So I'm not going to tell you I told you so, but 100% I told you so. But like not in like, no, she knows me well enough to be like, I wasn't saying it and like. And
well, that's why she called you back. Yes. She knew, she's like, Leah knew from the beginning I shouldn't have done this.
Yeah.
I need to talk about it with her.
Yeah. And it's just that conversation, right? But would probably come across more confrontational and abrasive in certain situations, especially that I'm passionate about, because I'm just like, I'm telling you, this is a bad idea. I can see it from a mile away and I need you to listen to me. Yeah. And more so if I've walked some of that out, that I'm like, I can see where this is going, right? But yeah, I just think I'm like, I don't want no like fluff in my friendships. Yeah. Like if you have a problem with me, say it. Yeah. Like I have no, in my schedule, I have no time for that. I can't see friends till July. Yeah. If you're like, I don't want the fluff. Yeah. I'm like, give me the grit. Give me the grind. Give me like, I just fought with my husband and I'm freaking pissed. Yeah. Okay.
Let's talk about it.
Yeah. Let's go. Yeah. I don't want you to be like, like
everything's fine. We're doing great.
Like, totally. and that's great because there are seasons like that and that's amazing and beautiful. But I'm like, I want to be real. Like we need to keep it real in relationships nowadays, or I'm like, I don't want it. I can't do surface level. I just can't.
And I feel like though that's what helps to take the pressure off though in life, right? Like if you have some good friends that will tell you the truth, you can tell them the truth. There's a pressure and a weight of having to always be around someone who's maybe judgmental. Yeah. I've had those people in my life where you feel like you have to keep things from them because it'll make it worse and you have to pretend like you're at it's exhausting. Yeah. If you can have a friend that's just where you can say anything and they're going to be like, wow, okay, like tell me more. I'm here for you and whatever. And that's a great way to like ditch the motherhood like load of guilt and stress and having some good girlfriends in your life.
And the girlfriends that will call me out on my stuff too. Totally. Like I'm not perfect. So I want somebody to be like, hey, Leo, like when you said that, like shouldn't have said it like that or whatever. I'm like, oh, okay. Right. Cool. Yeah. Like I don't like, and to really do it, I try, doesn't always work to do it. Like if I'm being the one talked to, like to not get defensive.
Right. Yeah. It's super hard.
Right. It's very hard because you're like, oh, but it's like, no, like let's
like whatever. All the times I tell you, oh, we're going to have to delete that. Oh, we're going to have to edit that out. Oh, you actually can't say that.
I'm like, well, I think you should just keep it because it's like really real.
I like it. I like that you always fight for your like inappropriate comment. You're like, no, it's fine. Yeah. People can handle it. And I feel like even in the last episode, we left some stuff a little more in and I was like, and people can handle it. Yeah. They can handle it.
They can handle it. You know, we might get canceled down the line for something I say, but we'll deal with that at a later date. Like we will. Like it just, great. I heard this crazy story the other day, okay, to end this, okay? Talk about like ending, like this has nothing to do with the sunny side, so like just bear with me here. But like talk about offhanded and he was a police officer and he was like, the best way to like hide a body would be to...
Wait, hold on. You were actually talking to a police officer?
Well, like I heard it through like somebody. Okay. And they were talking to a police officer. Okay. And I was like, the best way to hide a body would be like, you know, when there's like a hole dug for like a funeral, that's usually dug a few days before. So you would hide the body in that pit. Okay. You dig a bit deeper, hide the body, put the dirt on top. So when they lower it,
and nobody would ever...
I was like, that is the creepiest.
It's kind of crazy, like he's really thought that out.
Well, maybe he's just working in like, or he's experienced it working in the police force. Yeah. Maybe they found a body that way, but I'm like, that's crazy. That's terrifying.
It's right. People think of crazy things, guys. That's why sometimes people make fun of me because I like listening to true crime podcasts.
Not me.
Which seems crazy because I'm not someone I don't like bad movies or anything like that. Like I get scared easily. So people are always like surprised, like you like true crime, but I'm picky. Like I don't like really gruesome ones. It's like the detective work and like what people do. I find it so interesting. Maybe because I've been too sheltered my whole life. Every episode I'm just shocked. I'm always like, whoa. Yeah. Like how do people think to do that? And then how would they think to catch the person that way? Like I just
my brain just doesn't work like that. I'm like, how do I order Uber Eats? Like
totally.
Let alone murder and
I know some
hide the body.
Masterminds around here.
There is. Well, guys, this has been fun. We just gave you that little glimpse into just like a real life.
Yeah. That wasn't the sunny side.
That wasn't the sunny side. That's a very dark, gloomy side. So like go outside, look at the sun today and be like,
forget what we just said.
Just X everything we just said. But guys, it's been amazing. We can't wait for next week. We hope that you have a wonderful